Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to uncover the invisible forces and, well, those controllable variables that quietly drive your online shopping habits. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this material because, whether you realize it or not, we are all active participants in the highly structured and totally fascinating world of e-commerce. Think about the last time you bought a pair of shoes online, or maybe a flashy new tech gadget. You probably felt like you were just browsing around, found what you liked, and checked out, right? But what actually happens in your brain before you click Add to Cart? You might not have even realized it, but a massive, complex web of environmental variables and psychological triggers was already shaping your decision long before you even opened your laptop. So let's dive right into this and see how the magic actually happens. To make sense of all this, we're going to follow a single online purchase across three key phases. First, decoding online consumer behavior. Second, the purchasing decision process. And third, building e-commerce trust. All right, let's kick things off with part one, decoding online consumer behavior. It's time to decode the online mind. Behind the scenes of every simple purchase is a pretty comprehensive model of consumer behavior online. Now, on one side, you've got uncontrollable variables. These are things a merchant simply cannot change about you. Your age, your gender, your culture, and even your normative social influences, like peer pressure. But these directly intersect with controllable variables, things like a product's brand and its price. A successful online merchant is constantly, and I mean constantly, trying to figure out how to use the elements they can control to appeal to those deeply ingrained traits that they cannot control. It brilliantly illustrates why online marketing is just as much a psychological science as it is a business strategy. These concepts literally build the foundation of a merchant's digital storefront. Merchants use what we call controllable EC systems to shape your intention to buy. And they do this across three main pillars: payment and logistics supports, website features, and customer service. Think about it. How easy is it to pay? Are the delivery options crystal clear? Is the web page design accurate, easy to navigate, and, actually visually pleasing? Do they have a helpful FAQ section? These aren't just IT decisions, folks. They are fundamental marketing tools designed to smoothly guide your psychology right toward a purchase. But here is where it gets a little tricky for the e-tailer. Within these systems, they have to carefully balance what we call motivational factors alongside hygiene factors. Now think of motivational factors as the shiny, exciting features that encourage you to buy: a beautiful product video, a cool customization tool, or maybe a hyper-personalized recommendation. Hygiene factors, on the other hand, are just the basic, bare-bones functional requirements. We're talking secure checkouts, fast loading times, and zero broken links. If a website lacks motivational factors, well, you might not be super excited to buy. But, and this is a big but, if it lacks hygiene factors, you are going to abandon that site out of sheer frustration because a button wouldn't load no matter how amazing the product is. Actually, scratch that. You won't just abandon it. You'll probably never go back. Okay, moving right along to section 2, the purchasing decision process. Let's look at those step-by-step choices. Every single shopper inevitably moves through a pretty generic purchasing decision model. It always starts with step 1, identifying a need. Say your old shoes have a hole in them. Step 2, you search for information on new shoes. Step 3, you evaluate your different alternatives based on brand, price, maybe some reviews. And finally, step 4 culminates in the actual purchase and delivery. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, the digital environment radically alters how we actually experience step 2. So the absolutely crucial point here is what happens during that information search phase when you're online. Your brain actually splits the task into two totally distinct activities. First up is product brokering. This is where you're trying to figure out exactly what item you want. You're reading the specs, you're watching review videos, you're deciding between the blue sneakers or the black running shoes. Once you've nailed down the exact product, your brain shifts gears into merchant brokering. This is where you decide from whom to buy it. Now you're comparing massive online marketplaces against the brand's direct website, hunting for the best price, the fastest shipping, the easiest return policy. Merchants literally have to win you over in both of these brokering phases just to get your money. And just to add another layer of complexity to the whole shebang, you might not even be making this decision alone. Look at the different players involved in the consumer decision process. Imagine a family buying a shared digital streaming subscription. The teenager suggests it because they desperately want to watch a specific show, so they are the initiator. A tech-savvy friend tells the parent which service has the best 4K quality. That friend is the influencer. The parent ultimately chooses the plan, making them the decider, and inputs their credit card, making them the buyer. and ultimately, the whole family sits on the couch to watch. They are the users. E-commerce marketers have to design campaigns that appeal to all of these different roles at the exact same time. Wild, right? Now let's wrap things up with Section 3, Building E-commerce Trust. This is all about loyalty and satisfaction. Before we even look at the internet, we really have to understand trust itself. At its core, trust is the psychological willingness to depend on someone else. It involves vulnerability. You are handing over your hard-earned money and your highly sensitive personal data to an organization you cannot physically see, just hoping they hold up their end of the bargain. When we apply this to the digital world, this general concept evolves into specific online trust. This is the firm belief that an online website or digital entity will actually deliver exactly what they promised on their storefront. You trust that the shoes aren't counterfeit, that they'll arrive in 3 days just like they said, and that your credit card number won't be stolen. Without this specific online trust, the entire e-commerce ecosystem would just completely collapse. Because they don't have a physical brick-and-mortar store where you can just look a cashier in the eye, merchants actively try to manufacture this trust through some very deliberate strategies. First, they improve their website usability. Let's be real, a glitchy site practically screams scam. Second, they affiliate with objective third parties. Have you ever noticed those little security or antivirus badges sitting right there at checkout? That is borrowed trust. And third, they consciously establish their brand's overall trustworthiness through totally transparent return policies and excellent, highly responsive customer service. But wait, what if you were buying from a completely unknown third-party seller on a massive marketplace? If direct, brand-level trust is lacking, platforms rely heavily on reputation-based systems and online word-of-mouth. This brilliantly illustrates how the internet essentially crowdsources trust. These systems use collective peer feedback, star ratings, written reviews, user-uploaded photos to establish a vendor's credibility when there is absolutely zero prior knowledge between the buyer and the seller. Basically, you trust the seller because 1,000 strangers on the internet told you it was safe. Ultimately, the end goal of all this manufactured trust is loyalty. But let's look at a really important distinction here. Traditional customer loyalty is a deep commitment to continually repurchase a preferred product despite situational influences. For example, you always buy the same brand of toothpaste no matter which grocery store you happen to be in. But e-loyalty is slightly different. It's customer loyalty directed specifically at an e-tailer or an online loyalty program. It means you might buy totally different brands of toothpaste, but you always buy them through a specific online marketplace because you trust their dedicated delivery system and love their loyalty perks. E-loyalty is pretty much the holy grail for an online platform. Well, we've unpacked the background variables, the dual brokering decision process, and the intricate psychology of digital trust. So the next time you breeze through an online checkout and see that confirmation screen, I want you to ask yourself, was it purely your own free will? Or did a highly structured web of EC systems, peer influences, and reputation models just successfully guide your click? Really think about that the next time you shop. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the digital world around you.